Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, let's talk about the cruise ship on the run from the law. And then I also want to have a quick story about the CDC and their level 4 travel warnings, because it's not just cruise ships. And then finally, I'm hearing agents getting this information wrong and telling their clients the wrong information, as well as even agents from the cruise line have gotten it wrong. So first off, we covered the story earlier. I thought I'd better make an update on it because the passengers have mostly gotten home now. It's the story of the Crystal Symphony, and she was on her way to Miami when Genting Cruise Lines went into liquidation. That's the first step of getting ready to sell things off, probably cruise ships, probably assets, but it really leaves a lot of the employees completely in a lurch of what to do. Well, Crystal Symphony is owned by Genting Cruise Lines, and they were on their way to Miami, and they were expected to stop sailing once they got to Miami. However, all of a sudden, there's a fuel company out there that said, hey, wait a minute, you're going into liquidation? We want our $4.6 million you owe us. And they got a judge to issue an arrest warrant, a seizure notice for the cruise ship. Well, the cruise ship and the cruise line heard that, and as they were coming into Miami, whoop, turned around and headed off in the other direction. And they ended up in the Bahamas, where they told passengers they were extended by another day, and they explained to the passengers what the situation was. They did not hide it from the passengers, which was really good of the captain. He's probably stuck as well, right? He just found out, yeah, the company I'm a cruise ship captain with is going bankrupt. Will I have a job tomorrow? Well, for now they still have a job, but are they being paid? The company says they will be out of money by the end of this month, which is only a few short days away. Now, the passengers themselves were up to themselves to either make their own arrangements to fly home and everything, or the cruise line provided a ferry boat for the passengers to get back. Those who took the ferry boat said it was one of the roughest ferry rides they've ever seen in their lives. And if you've been out in Cozumel and that, you've taken the ferry across from Cancun to Cozumel, you know how rough and seasick people can get. Well, imagine 2.5 hours on a ferry coming from the Bahamas in rough seas. It can get pretty seasick, and a lot of people did not enjoy that trip back. Not a great situation. But it brings us back to what is happening with the cruise ship now. Where did it go? Did it head off to Europe? Did it try and make its way back? Right now, it is still outside of US waters. It's still in Bahamas, and it is still close to the port. It's not still docked, because if you're booked and docked in a port, that costs money. Right now, they don't know if they have any money. We have a situation where we have cruise crew members and everything still on a ship, don't know if they can get fuel, don't know if they can get food provisions. I mean, if your company's being seized, your ship is out to try and be seized for fuel expenses, what company out there, unless you send them the money now, is going to provide you with provisions for that cruise ship? Which really can, like, what's happening with the crew members? That is more my concern than any other thing right now. The Crystal Symphony crew members, are they going to be able to get home? Are they going to have to do it on their own dime? There's some of the entertainers got off in Bahamas and they went home at their own expense. They flew themselves home because they wanted to get someplace else and get work someplace else. Crew members who are your busboys and the waiters, they don't necessarily have that privilege. They don't necessarily have that money to fly home and escape what's going on right now. So it's not a terrific situation going on there, but I'll keep you updated the more we hear. Hopefully that they don't start running out of food. Hopefully the company looks after them that way. It I really do not envy them right now. I feel for them 100%. Now, I also have a story about some agents and even the agents who work for the cruise line themselves at the call-in center are getting it wrong. But before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with all things cruising, from protocols to cruise vlogs to ship inspections to room cabin tours to where to stay at your pre-cruise hotel. Everything to do with cruising we talk about here on the channel, and I'll also keep you up to date with any breaking news stories like the one you just heard about the Symphony, and some important ones like cruise lines getting it wrong when they're talking to you. And that story, also it helps the channel out immensely, and I'd really appreciate it. And for all those who are new subscribers, welcome. And to all those who've been here for a while, thank you so much again for all your support through these last few years. It really means a ton. What am I saying that the agents are getting it wrong? Well, a few things out there. People are being told that, hey, all the cruise lines are not providing free tests. They're not. If you have to fly and you need a test to fly to your home country, or for any other reason, no, we are not providing the tests. Well, that's not necessarily true. For instance, Princess Cruise Lines, they are still offering free testing. If you needed to fly home to your resident country, they are still offering the complimentary. When you get off the ship, you get the test in the cruise port. A PCR test usually takes about an hour. A antigen test only takes about 30 minutes. I've done it a few times myself. They provide it. There's been no cost. That's not the issue. But a big one for me was people were asking, well, when I'm getting off the ship and I test positive for COVID, if I test accidentally or if I catch COVID on the ship and I'm getting off the ship and that test that you're giving me to fly home proves that I'm COVID and I now have to isolate and go to a quarantine hotel, who pays for that hotel? And some of the agents out there, now I'm not saying that they are doing it on purpose. They may not know the new protocols, they may not know the situation, they may not have been up to date. A lot of new agents are being hired by cruise lines because they're really backlogged in answering phones. If you're an agent, you know what I mean. You can try and get through and it can take 4 or 5 hours to get through on the phone lines. But they're telling people that once you're off the ship, you're off the ship. And if you test positive at the cruise port, you're on your own. That expense is yours, and that is completely false. It is not yours. The cruise line has it right there in their updated policies. Let me read. What if I test positive for disembarkation while being tested as a requirement for re-entry to my home country? Change fees and reasonable expenses related to shoreside quarantine and travel home for you and your immediate travel party will be covered by Princess if it's not reimbursable by your travel protection or any other reasonable means. So if you have travel insurance that covers COVID quarantine, they would like you to do that because it's not an insurance that Princess has. They would be paying it themselves. But if you have the insurance policy, then it would cover it. If you don't have that insurance policy for quarantine, they are covering it. Additionally, any shoreside meals will be also covered through Princess on a per diem allowance. You're given so much a day. You will also be given somebody at the shoreside who will look after you, get you into the accommodations, look after your retesting, and get you any support you need for rebooking flights and changing flights. All of that is covered by Princess. And people were actually being told, no, once you step foot off the ship, you are not covered. Well, no, that's not the case. As you can see, it's right in their health protocols. It even has a big updated right there beside it. So for all of you who are told that or are worried about that, do not worry. If you test positive getting off the ship, you are covered with Princess. Does that mean you're covered with every cruise line? No. Check every cruise line's individual policy before you go on your cruise so you know exactly what's covered. That's all I can say. And I guess don't necessarily rely on somebody on the phone who might have been only working there for 3 weeks, I guess. Well, also, one last quick thing. We have... The CDC is issued a lot of do not travel to cruise ships, right? Level 4, level 4. Well, in case you're wondering who else might just possibly be on that list, let me give you a quick rundown of who has been added in the last 2 weeks alone from the CDC, the do not travel level 4 warning. That is Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Fiji, Guadeloupe, Jamaica, Kuwait, Mongolia, Nigeria, Peru, Romania, St. Bartholomew, St. Martin, Tunisia, United Arab Emirates, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Spain, the United Kingdom. Oh, in case you're wondering, Canada and the United States are both on that list. So yeah, it's not necessarily they're picking on cruise lines, but when they announced it, you certainly saw, oh, CDC raises level to level 4 for cruise ships. They basically raise the level 4 to almost every country in the world. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.